Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Sorry for the Jesus light that's shining down. Can't really fix that, but it's there, so sorry. Today's video is going to be about the changing numbers. I do have a special video that I'm working on that I hope would bring awareness to some people. So it's an interesting video that I'm going to be working on. It's just, I haven't been feeling the greatest. So I'm like, why not just do some story times and then do this video. I don't know how fancy it's going to be. I don't even think it's going to be that fancy. I think it's just going to be like maybe another story time video. And yeah, and I got another Baby Yoda shirt on. I know. Anyways, yeah, so this video is going to be about the changing numbers that I talked about a little bit last video. So with the changing numbers, this I think made me more paranoid. So like I said, so those websites, and I looked into this because I literally thought I was I was crazy, that you can put in like a number where you want to text, but it will like show that from like another number. It's like some random number that they'll just give out. WhatsApp has that you can text from like another number, so you don't use your phone number. It's very interesting, and like I can go into like a whole lot of detail, but I don't think anybody wants to listen to that. So anyways, it's tea, by the way. Just in case anybody cared. Yeah, so like the changing numbers thing was really made me paranoid. There we go. Because the whole thing is like I got to the point where like these 6 people were like texting me or trying to like get information on me like at any point in time, basically. So I would like block their numbers because I would just be so tired of like the shit of them texting and stuff. But the thing was like I learned their language, which sounds weird, but each of them had a I would say 6, and I'll get to that in a second of why I do question mark. I got to know their language because each of them had a name. That was my jaw. A way that they would say certain things. The reason why I say question mark for the 6 is because I only had physical contact with mostly 5 of them. 6 was kind of like this person who I wasn't 100% sure. Like I have my ideas on who they were. It's just that they were like a sneaky person. Like they would be like the inside person. Because this person I mostly had in all my classes, if not all. Excuse me. So like this person would follow me into the hallways, would like stare at me creepily in the classrooms. Like they would know where I am 24/7. And this is just, I know how paranoid and crazy it sounds. Trust me. Trust me, I know. But anyways, yeah, so I got to know how they spoke. So like when I would block their like original numbers, and then like I would get these like random texts from random numbers, like, oh hey baby, or hey horror, or hey something, like something related to that person, which they would call me or say to me, and just like the type of like language they would use. I know how like again, mind-blowingly crazy this sounds. I got to the point, and I think this is where my OCD came from, or like started to like appear more, was like I would keep track of these phone numbers, and I swear to God, I had a fucking diary, journal, whatever you want to call it, of random numbers. And like I would like make a point of like what time they texted, what number it was and like who it was from. Because again, like I would know from like the way that they spoke, or like with the way that they left messages, the way that they would text. Like I got to know who they were. So it didn't matter what number they texted from, I knew who it was. So like I kept track of this, and I would block these numbers, and then like new numbers would appear. And like I literally thought like this was all in my head. Like I was so paranoid and so crazy that like I didn't know if it was real or not. When I realized it was real was like one evening I was in the basement with my parents, and we were like watching a movie, and all of a sudden I get this like text from like this random number, and it says, "Hey baby, we're outside." And like my blood ran cold, and like I got like this sinking feeling in my stomach, and like, oh my god, sorry, my jaw is like cracking tonight. And like I thought like I was gonna throw up, so I just said, "Oh, pause the movie, I have to go to the bathroom." Pee break. So I ran all the way upstairs to my room. I like pulled back my curtain, and there they were standing outside my house drinking. And I was like so shit scared. Like I was just like, what the fuck are they gonna do? Like, okay, this isn't in my head. This is like real. Like this is not like all in my head. I'm not crazy. This is dumb. This is fucked up. So sorry, I was just debating if I should continue this, and I'm going to kind of divide this into two things, which is all related. So like I said, I did things that I wasn't proud of. Now for me, it was like, okay, kind of disgrace my family and make me feel like a type of way and get a less beating, or not do it and get a full-on beating. And this was sending some inappropriate texts, if we all know what we mean, and some inappropriate images, if we all know what we mean. Like, you know what I'm saying. Good Lord. Yeah, I just became one of those people. Oh Lord. Anyways, but yes, I am not proud of it. It made me feel dirty. It made me feel a type of way, and it literally. Some days I wouldn't do it, and I would just take the beating, and I would just fucking just deal with it. But there were just some days where you're just so tired and drained. You're like, okay, I'm already disgraced the family from the school. I said it. Many adults in my life have said it. You know, why not just take that extra hit and fucking send these images or send these text messages? And it made me feel dirty and uncomfortable and totally like used. And so I unblocked their original numbers, because I knew they were just gonna get in contact with me no matter what. This wasn't going away, and I just let them text me. Like it wasn't gonna go away. And it really did make me feel a type of way. Like it made me feel really, really like this was like the lowest point, like one of the lowest points. Like you couldn't get any lower than this. And the whole thing is my parents found out. And just like through like the way that I was acting, the way that the school was portraying me, was that I was just like the terrible person. So as parents, what do? You take your child's phone. And they went through it. And the reason why I didn't, hold on, let me just pause right here. A part of me wanted them to find out. And like, this is why I didn't delete the text messages or the images. I eventually did later on. This lasted a long fucking time, guys. I'm not even joking. But like a part of me wanted it. Like, oh shit, I was shit scared because I was like, holy shit, like this is bad. But a part of me, like a small part of me, like now that I look back, is like I wanted them to find out. I wanted them to discover. And I really hoped that they would, I guess, like be like, what's going on? Like, this is not how we raised you. I ended up like in my fragile state, and that's what I'm calling it. I was in a really emotionally compromised state, and mentally and physically. So when my parents found out and they discussed it with me, it did not go well. I freaked out, just the way that, of course, they were upset and angered, like, this is not how we raised you. And how they came off was, yes, angry and aggressive parents, but in my state, I took it the wrong way, and I'm not proud of it. And like, they were like yelling at me and be like, yo, you know, we're disappointed in you. And like, that triggered something in my mind that I went crazy. And my mom like came to like, because they gave me back my phone because I had to use it for something, and then they would take it back. And like, I jumped and I like freaked out. Like, I didn't like want to attack my mom, like, but it came across like I wanted to. My dad lost his mind. Like, I don't blame him. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And that just led down to another problem of like, something happened in one of my classes that kind of tied into that one of the guys had another friend of mine who wasn't in the greatest state try to like grope me in the classroom, and like I got really triggered, like, and he grabbed me and it was like really inappropriate. It was a really fucked up circle of life in my life. And so like I was like, here, take my phone, like, oh my god. And I backed myself in the corner, and I remember hyperventilating, crying. I'm like, you can call my best friend, talk to him, he knows the situation. And they thought I was lying, that this guy like attacked me, that this is not what I wanted, like, because they were told by the school that I was making shit up, that I was looking for attention. Like, of course, like, they have multiple adults telling them that their daughter is like a fuck up. And again, I was not always truthful with my parents because I was in this abusive relationship, and it was just, it's a whole fucking mess. And like, they didn't believe me, and I don't blame them. Like, at the time, I was like really fucking furious. Like, why aren't you believing me? Like, I'm telling you, I was almost raped in class. Like, call my best friend. And I remember my brother calling my best friend, and then like he talked to them, like my brother talked to him, and then I think my parents talked to him. I can't even remember. I don't think so though. I think it was my brother. And like my brother confirmed it, like, yeah, this actually happened. And so of course they went to the school and stuff. But like, again, like, I wasn't a very truthful person. I guess a lot of my actions came off like sketchy, and I don't blame them for not believing me, because it's just like, you know, when you have like a lot of like educated people, teachers, principals, vice principals, counselors, telling like another adult, like your child who is not an adult yet is like fucking up and doing all this stuff, like, who are you gonna believe, right? And when you have a child that's not honest, or kind of like beating around the bush, it becomes like a very sticky situation. But also when you have parents that come off like aggressive, like they don't want to like sit down and like listen, again, it's not a good, healthy situation all the way around. And again, I don't blame my parents for not believing me. Again, it was a very fucked up situation. Am I upset and hurt that they didn't believe me? Of course. And then that sent me just down a rabbit hole of like, they won't believe me of anything I say. And that kind of leads me to the point of like, my book. Like, I know that I have to tell them and I have to have them read it first. But like, that's always in the back of my head. That's always like going to be there, like, oh, they didn't believe you then, so what makes you think that they're going to believe you now writing this book? Like, maybe they're just going to think that you're looking for attention. And it's a very hard situation. Like, I know I'm gonna have to sit down and show it to them. And I know they're gonna feel a lot of type of ways, like, why didn't you tell us? Like, you could have come to us then and stuff. And I remember, this is gonna be kind of a long video breaking down into many things, but all tied back together. So yeah, I'll get back to that sidetrack of my book and stuff. So like, my parents would take my phone like every night and stuff and like make sure, and like, this made the situation a lot worse than that. My parents didn't know about that like, the group of 6 knew that I was in shit with my parents. Like, I didn't have my phone, and that pissed them off. And like, I paid for it heavily at school, with the name calling, the shoving, the grabbing, the name calling, the occasional trying to kill me at school by like throwing me over the auditorium like rails. It was a whole fucking mess. Like, anyways, so there's that. But again, I mean, you know, I wasn't the most open and honest person with my parents, but like, again, emotionally and physically and mentally damaged here. But anyways, tying back to my book, was a few years ago, I worked at a women's shelter, and I ran it for a little bit too, and I had the opportunity to share a part of my story. Now, so there was like this, it was like a week-long thing, and like, I got to speak at like each evening thing. And like, there would be for different groups. So there'll be like for women, there'll be for like partners and spouses, and then many like different groups, and like, you get to meet with different people. And then on the last 2-3 nights was like, you can invite your family, and they can come out and they can like see that, you know, there's different situations, and like, it's a good like learning program for them. However, during this thing, we got hit by bad snowstorms, and like, the event got closed off for like 2 days, 2 nights, because of these bad snowstorms. So like, my family couldn't come, and that kind of pissed off a few people. So a few weeks later, like, I had like a get together with some of my family members. They came from out of town, and I was like, hey, do you guys want to hear the speech that I wrote? Because unfortunately, you guys couldn't be there. And like, it got canceled because of the snowstorm. Like, do you want to hear it? And they're like, yeah, sure. So in this speech, I kind of explained what happened, but not really. Like, I kind of bypassed it, and I used a lot of big words, and like, I didn't go into full details. I shared some stuff about like, why I missed my brother's prom, and just certain things. And then at the end of it, a family member was like, well, why the fuck didn't you tell any of us? Like, you know, when your aunt was alive, blah, 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 blah. And just like chewing out my ass about like, why I didn't say anything. Like, why are you making us out to be the bad guys? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, you should have known better. And that made me feel a type of way. Because I was just on like the verge of like just expressing and going through the motions of like, this is what I went through. Like, this was me getting in contact with everything that happened and going through the motions. And like, I remember going into a shell. Like, I remember being so frustrated. And I was like, you fucked up, Jess. Like, this was my logic of thinking, like, oh my God, your family hates you. Like, oh my God, what did you do? And I wasn't looking for attention. This speech wasn't about blaming anybody. This was me taking accountability for my actions and expressing what I went through, and also kind of explaining like why I didn't like go into like why I didn't tell anybody, you know, going into that like psychology of that mental state and whatnot. And like I just felt like a total fuck up. Like I was just like, oh my God, you went about this the wrong way. Like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck's wrong with you? And then I looked at it and I was like, okay, look, you can't tell a survivor of abuse how to deal, how to cope, and how to go through all the motions. Like, every situation is different and everybody handles the situation differently. And so that kind of ties back to like me releasing this book. Like, I really want to, that's my goal. I'm going to do it before I die type of thing. But like, I know I'm going to get a lot of shit on my end. Not by my close family. I'm thinking like outside family and just people around that don't understand the situation. And like I don't really give a shit about the backlash. Like, this isn't, I mean, yes, this book is about me, but this is also about helping other people that, God forbid, are in the same situation, going through something similar, or just don't know. Parents just don't know what to do. And it's like, this isn't me telling you, oh, what to fucking do. This is just saying like, hey, look, these are some of the signs. Like, talk, you know, don't take a no for an answer type of thing. Don't push, but just know that like your child's not alone, or like somebody that has gone through but just doesn't like know how to process it, or like is going through something similar, or like mental health or whatever. This isn't just about me. This is about me helping others and letting them know that they're not alone, and letting them know that it is okay to be in this vulnerable state, to have no idea what the fuck they're doing. And I'm prepared for the backlash, and I'm also prepared for hopefully the support, you know? And I'm looking forward to it. And I know how that sounds. That sounds kind of very like, oh, your ego. But I'm honestly at the point of, like, I even wrote in my book, like, this is my story. This is what happened. You can believe it or not. Like, I don't give a fuck, basically. Like, this isn't about, you know, to please you or to, like, guilt trip you. This is to help me and to help other people. But anyways, guys, this is a long-ass video. I'm sorry. These videos are freaking long. Probably like, Jessica, shut the fuck up, I know. Kidding. Anyways, guys, I'm honestly hoping that these videos help, or like allow you to feel like you're not alone, or to get in touch with, you know, maybe a family member or a close friend that is going through something that you might not know how to like connect with them or contact them. I'm just really excited to share my story and to be able to be a voice for those that might not have a voice yet. Because that's okay, because I was one of those people, you know. I have been through a lot of stuff and I've learned from it. And look, I'm not perfect. I'm still gonna fuck up along the way. Like, that's just how life is. But I'm just really, really happy that I'm able to connect with people and share my story. And I have said that multiple times, and I apologize. But anyways, guys, I will go for now. Remember, never give up, always keep fighting. You're enough, and you're very loved. Until next video, I love you guys.